for the start of this race. 83 ahead of 7. The marshals moving away from the grid. The start lights about to come on. Red lights are on, revs are up, we're ready for a start. They drop, and it's a great start from Casey O'Gorman to storm into the lead by turn 1 through turn 2. He's definitely got a much better start than Emmanuel Brinton. He just seemed to really struggle as they go up towards the hill for the first time. Casey able to contain his lead, so into turn number 3 and 4 they're fine as everyone gets away cleanly for the first time. 12 lap race, of course, this one through the hairpin, turn number 6, and Casey O'Gorman, great start from him. Emmanuel Brinton does stay in second place. Corey Stainer did move up into third place, so from 6th place that was a very good start from him as well, but the top 2 breaking away by a couple of bike lengths as they come around the back straight for the first time. But Casey has managed to gets his position contained, so they come through the boot, the quick left-hander, hop over the curb, and then a much tighter right-handed hairpin, followed by the pit straight for the first time. And Casey O'Gorman will therefore take the lead of the race ahead of Emmanuel Brinton. Corey Stainer in 3rd place. 4th place for Thomas Gomes, again a good move for him from him on that lap to take 4th place ahead of Evan Belford. Bailey Stewart Campbell, Holly Harris, Finn Smart, Dylan Miller and Mason Johnson are your top 10, with Jaden Toomer, Sean Abel, Ben Smith, Karis Jones, James Cook, Elliot Crosby, Lewis Jones, Saffron Motley, Evan Penchel and James Cook your audible, though James Cook has not come over the time and scoring line, so before I'd say I think he's unless it's come over twice, yes it has come over twice, ignore me. Anyway, so Casey O'Gorman in the lead. It was a decent lead over the last couple of corners, but as they come through the boot for the second time out of 12, it is much reduced compared to Brinton, so the 93 has closed up exponentially on number 7 as they cross the line for the second time. It was 0.261. It's about the same as they come over the line for the second time out of 12, but coming out to turn number 2, it's a great run from Emmanuel Brinton. Moves up to the right hand side as they come up towards Christmas Corner. Casey stops it on the apex, really parking the bus in order to keep the position. Can it be much longer he holds on to his position? We're going to find out as they come through turn 6, the hairpin right-hander. We've got a great battle, of course, again going off the 3rd and 4th place, with Thomas Gomes trying to make a move on Corey Stainer, but Evan Belford now on the attack in 5th place for 4th place. All rather tight. We've got the cluster of 2 bikes for the lead and then 4 bikes for 3rd place, so all the podium positions being contested so far. Evan Belford trying to move around the outside, coming through the boot. Tried to get a decent run down the back straight, didn't quite work out for him, I'm afraid, and somehow Emmanuel Brinton's struggled going through the boot for the second time because he just seemed to drop back significantly. On the last lap he closed up really well going through turn number 1 and 2, but this time he's really struggled with the front end of that bike and as such couldn't get it turned in, lost a bit of pace. Half a second the gap is now. Evan Belford up into 4th place confirmed, so now he's going to be challenging for 3rd place, and in fact yes he is. Oh my goodness, he was very close going through turn number 5, almost tripped up on Corey Stainer. Does manage to keep it away obviously and does carry on, although it did seem quite slow coming out turn number 6 and has dropped back 2 positions now, so he was in 4th, drops back to 6th place. Holly Harris and Bailey Stewart Campbell, they're getting close to them as well, so down the back straight for them, up towards the boot, the left-hander, up the inside, but can't make it through. Straight line speed seems to be a struggle for him at the moment. Battle for the lead, not extending, not really changed. Fastest lap on that lap for Casey O'Gorman, and in fact increased by a 10. 53.945, shows how much quicker these are compared to the bikes we saw out just a few moments ago. So Thomas Gomes and Bailey Stewart Campbell have moved up into 4th and 5th. Evan Belford down to 6th. Holly Harris 3.2 seconds behind in 7th place so far. And we have someone down at turn number 8. They are off the bike and they're fine. I can't see which number that is. It looks like it's number 3. It could be Lewis Jones on his feet and he's fine. Just looks quite unhappy with himself, sadly. Which is understandable. So as they come through turn number 8, yellow flags out in force down there. But as we continue on with the race, so Casey O'Gorman, number 7, still in the lead of the race. Emmanuel Brinton still in 2nd place, and that gap just seems to be extending ever so slightly now. Emmanuel was quicker than Casey on that last lap to close up to half a second. The battle for 3rd place though, still Stainer in the lead of Gomes, Stuart Campbell and Belford. They're looking really tight as they come up through the hill. In fact, Thomas Gomes, is he going to go up the inside? Almost 3 wides coming through Christmas Corner, the right-hander. And as a result, it looked like he dropped back just a little bit. So Corey continues on in 3rd place at the moment. Now it looks like Bailey Stuart Campbell's time to enjoy 4th place, with Evan Belford moving up into 5th. It's all ebbing and flowing a little bit right now. This is a fantastic ability of the Wilton Mill circuit. It's so tight through the first couple of corners, much wider, much longer corners for the rest of the circuit. Through the boot for them on lap 5 out of 12. We're nearing half distance already. My goodness, how the race has flown. Much quicker though from Amwell Brinton. 0.139 of a second a gap. He's just gone quickest, 53.648. Has closed up to nearly 2 tenths, and as they come up the hill, this is looking really tight for the lead of the race. And in fact, Amwell did take the position ever so briefly, went deep into Christmas Corner. Brinton, sorry. So as they make their way through turn number 6 now, it has dropped back a little bit again. So whilst it was close ever so briefly, has dropped back for Brinton now on O'Gorman. Was quick on that last lap though, so I do expect that will close it once again. So of course Bailey Stuart Campbell did move up to 4th place in the end, ahead of Evan Belford and Thomas Gomes, 4th, 5th and 6th. So as they come up towards the boot, the left and then the right and then the right again. Casey O'Gorman unchallenged in the lead of the race now, over the line, and the gap is 0.6 of a second, 54.7. They were encountering traffic on that last lap already, can you believe? Lap 7 out of 12. Bailey Stuart Campbell now moves up into 3rd place and looks like it's keeping it through turn number 2. Well, that was a great run from Evan Belford in 4th place to try and go at the inside potentially at turn 2. Didn't work out, so as they go through Christmas Corner, it's going to be side by side through turn 5 and 6. Really snaking their way around there. You can get such a good run and get on the exit, but you've immediately got to turn left as well, which can put a bit of a spanner in the works. They're all getting a bit tripped up with a couple of back markers as well, side by side. And it does look like Bailey Stuart Campbell did try again for 3rd place, didn't work out. Belford into 4th then, so it's all challenging rather nicely in the battle for 3rd place as they go through the boot for the 7th place. Over the line they go. Our 2 race leaders have been over. Brinton has closed up to 0.2 seconds ahead of behind Casey O'Gorman. Evan Belford 3rd place. Bailey Stuart Campbell down to 4th. He was 3rd on that last one, now down to 4th place, but is trying as hard as he can. Great run out of Fine Lady, the 2nd corner. Moves up the inside, coming into Christmas Corner. Does take 3rd place then on lap 8 out of 12. Just 4 laps remaining, and keeps it this time as they come up towards turn number 6. This time it's Evan Belford defending on Corey Stainer. So as they now make their way into turn number 7, but is Corey going to try and for a late move at the inside into 7? Did try, didn't quite work out for him though. So a case really of what could have been potential on that lap. We've still got 3 and a bit laps of this race left to go though, so by all means this battle is not over. And the way it's been changing, I wouldn't be surprised if it does change once again during the rest of the race. Casey O'Gorman in the lead, but only by 0.2 of a second from Brinton in the number 93. What a great chase. And again, Bailey does make it through. Great run on the final corner around the outside of turn number 1, ahead of Evan Belford for 3rd place. They were side by side coming up to Christmas Corner like they were previously. Bailey does take the position. Traffic encountered though for O'Gorman and Brinton. Really put a spanner in the works for them briefly. In Casey, really good traffic management. Oh, and down has gone Brinton. Brinton has gone down, low side, back up, trying to get back on the bike. He is on his feet, obviously, so it looks all right. Marshall's going over to make sure that he's all right, but through turn 7, just lost the bike. He is absolutely furious, hands down, absolutely frustrated, and you can believe it. And there's been someone else gone down on the far side of the circuit. Looks like they do continue, though, a bike going slowly. Looks like the 14, which was going slowly. So on the racing line, everyone's having to avoid him. But Casey O'Gorman, therefore, on lap 10, takes the lead, particularly unassisted. That means Bailey Stuart Campbell and... oh goodness, we have someone else who's gone down at turn number 7. Couldn't quite see. Is that one of our battle for 3rd and 4th? It could be Evan Belford. I'm not sure at the moment. We'll have to wait for them as they come over. They all look fine, just a bit of understeer there, which is not good. But yeah, yellow flags now out at turn number 7. It's looking particularly tricky in these hot conditions. 2 laps left to go, but Bailey Stewart Campbell into second place. Evan Belford currently in third place, but Casey O'Gorman is in the lead of the race. 10.2 seconds the gap for him, so that the drop for him has meant that really he's been able to win this race potentially unassisted now. 1 lap left to go, lap 11 out of 12. 1 lap left, and Casey O'Gorman in the lead of the first race for the Mini GP50s. Bailey Stewart Campbell is ahead of Evan Belford. It wasn't Belford who went down. Corey Stainer in 4th place. Thomas Goins in 5th, and Holly Harris into 6th place. So not too long for them left to go. The battle's opened up just ever so slightly. The heat in this race, luckily, a cloud's come over, so maybe the heat will go down. It's a really warm day. I can only imagine how warm it is on those bikes. Would be good for the tyres, though, in terms of getting some decent temperature. Someone's going slowly down the back straight, though. So that will... Oh, and there's been a collision down at the boot. The number 7, and that's our race leader. That's Casey O'Gorman. He's gone down. They're trying to get the bike back up. He looks... This is furious. He's trying to get him restarted, but that has meant... What have I done? Because I've said this, I've jinxed it, and it looks like it could be Bailey Stewart Campbell. In fact, is it going to be? They've got traffic ahead of them. It's going to be side by side, almost 3 wide. My goodness me, 3 wide over the line, and it is going to be Bailey Stewart Campbell who takes the lead in this race and wins the race ahead of Evan Belford and Corey Stainer. Casey O'Gorman, where's he going to come over the line in? He only comes round in 5th place. 4th place for Thomas Gomes, 5th for Casey O'Gorman. My goodness me. What drama to see at the end of that race. A back mark who stopped on the circuit, or going very slowly, just tripped over them. And I was saying not a couple of laps ago how good his traffic management was. So look at that. Curse of the commentators, it's a good job Kiko's not here, else worse would happen. But that is Bailey Stewart Campbell then, who takes an unexpected victory in the 99 in the first of the 3 Mini GP50 races. Evan Belford will be in 2nd place, Corey Stainer is in 3rd, Thomas Goins 4th, Casey O'Gorman 5th, Holly Harris 6th, 7th for Dylan Mellor, Sean Abel in 8th, 9th for James Cook, Harris Jones 10th, Elliot Crosby comes over the line in 11th ahead of Ben Smith, Jaden Tuma, Evan Pendrill, Mason Johnson 15th, Finn Smart in 16th, Brinton, Watley, Jones and Cook all having troubles, although 2nd James Cook in all hours. It's Brinton, Watley and Jones having troubles and collisions in that race. So it was Brinton and stuff and Watley who went down. Those Jones early on in the race conked out. So that was all rather dramatic, Lester. I think I need a glass of water after that one.
Have a little breather, Dan. That was an epic finale to that race, and like you say, high drama towards the end. And I didn't see exactly what happened from my vantage point, so I can't. And I'm not going to speculate, but the lead seems to have changed just as the leader was approaching that slow-moving Holly Harris bike. And that's all we know, high drama indeed. So, with the Mini GP50s at first race over and done with, and I'm sure that will look really good on TV when you watch that back later in the week, filmed by Alan Tadei in TDI Media. Up next is the Senior Mini Motos first race of the day.
Original. and best British championships for mini bikes. This is Cool Fab Racing.
And we are live, just about, on Facebook Live, and thank you very much for all the comments from all the parents and friends and family who are tuning in to our live visual radio stream. I know it's well, we are beholden to the strength of the internet that we can get here at a lovely, hot, sweltering Wilton Mill. So, incidentally, by the way, we are streaming live audio-only coverage on the Cool Fab Racing website as well. There's so many places where we're streaming this weekend, it's hard to keep track of. But yeah, coolfabracing.com, the place to go for live audio-only coverage. And also, as well, motorsport.radio. We're also simulcasting on about 5 or 6 different places, to be honest. And if you want to keep up to date with any messages directly from Race Control, Roger Keys and his brilliant team there, then you can download the Mixlr app. That's Mixlr app. And you can find the Cool Fab Racing profile, and messages directly from Roger Keys and the Race Control team will be coming from there. So if you wanted to know if we're running ahead or running behind, or when launch is going to be the most important thing, then you can find out via that. Alright, so on we go then to the next race, and it is the first race this weekend for the Senior Mini Motos. Dan Marr is your commentator.
For second place as they come through the boot for the first time, through the left, over the curb, and then the right, the handed hairpin, and then the 90-degree right. But it is Richard Holmes-Williams in the lead of the race by a staggering 2.5 seconds, ahead of Brandon Payne, Matt Birking and Mark Payne for fourth. Bernie Hook, Josh Dunn, Andy Wheaton, Nick Bennett, Ross Michael, Will Howarth is down to 11th place, Chris Yeomans in 12th, 13th for Paul Nichols, and Paul Peters over the line now as well. Justin Bainbridge, as we mentioned earlier, did not take the start of this race, wasn't able to get that bike underway, I'm afraid. So as they make their way round turn 7 and 8 for the second time out of 8, and Richard Holmes-Williams with a great start and a really big lead as well. Second place, Brandon Payne has managed to gap as well compared to third and fourth. That's really one of the closest battles on circuit between Matt Birking and Mark Payne. So through the boot they go. And I'm just looking as well, it's a great battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. Richard Holmes-Williams over the line, 57.2, but it's a 57.0 for Brandon Payne. He does close the gap ever so slightly. 2.369 of a second, the gap now between first and second. Quite close for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th as they come over the line. It is Bernie Hook in 6th place. Andy Whedon moves up to 6th place actually. Ryan Grant 7th, Nick Bennett and Will Howarth move up to 8th and 9th. Josh Darter drops down to 10th, 11th place for Chris Yeomans, who deposes Ross Michael out of position now down to 12th. Paul Nichols and Paul Peters. So as the presentation goes on downstairs, the commentary box for that previous race, of course a fantastic race for the Mini GP 50s, which saw Bailey Stewart Campbell take the victory ahead of Evan Belford. We continue on here at Wilton Mill for the first of the senior Mini Motos races, and a battle for 5th place looking very hot indeed as they went side by side through the final couple of corners. Over the line they come now. And it is Andy Whedon now for 5th place, who overtakes Bernie Hook for 6th. So Bernie Hook down to 6th. Andy Whedon now into 5th as they come up towards the Christmas corner, which is turn number 3, the right-hander. And Andy has gapped a good enough, decent enough gap anyway to take the position. Will Howarth on that last lap up into 8th place, 56.333 for 8th place. That's fastest lap of the race. 5 laps left to go. We're nearly half distance in this race already. So Ryan Grant is a second ahead of Will Howarth for 7th place, although I cannot imagine that lasting particularly long either. Meanwhile, we have the race leaders about to come over the line, and we will see in just a moment. Actually, Richard Holmes-Williams over the line now, 58.3, but it's a 57.2 for Brandon Payne, who's closing exponentially on Richard Holmes-Williams. And Will Howarth now moves up into 5th place ahead of Andy Whedon. So the man on a charge, he started on pole position, has now moved up to 5th place ahead of Andy Whedon and Bernie Hook, up towards Christmas corner, the right-hander on lap 4 out of 8, half distance then in this race. And Brandon Payne is also closing in on Richard Holmes-Williams, therefore meaning we're going to have a battle on our hands in just a few moments. And if Will Howarth, he's in 8th, he's got 8.4 seconds behind, but if he puts his finger out, he could close up really well indeed. Back markers already being encountered. Traffic is so difficult around some of these karting circuits. Wilton Mill is quite wide, so as they make their way now up towards the final couple of corners, we've got a great battle now for the lead of the race. Richard Holmes-Williams is holding on to the race lead, and no, he's not actually, he did try, but Brandon Payne now into the lead of the race. Over the line they took the position, so 23 ahead of 126 up towards Christmas corner, and he can't answer it. So Brandon Payne takes the lead of the race, very tight indeed. Ryan Grant into 7th place now ahead of Bernie Hook. Hook had a decent start to the race but has been dropping back sadly ever since. Will Howarth still in 5th, but only 5.7 seconds behind. The race lead is 0.7 of a second behind Mark Payne in 4th. He could yet salvage a podium in this race. And Matt Birkin coming in 3rd place, a bit in no man's land really, being caught by Mark Payne slightly, but it is Brandon Payne in the lead of the race. They go through the left and the right at the boot for the 5th time out of 8. 3 laps left to go. Over the line they come to make it 2 laps left to run in this first race, but it's much closer than we expected. Coming through the left and then through the right at turns 1 and 2. Try and make the nose up the inside. Is he going to try? They've got traffic ahead of them up towards the hill at the Christmas corner. Again, can't make a position. He gets a good run through turns 1 and 2, but he can't really answer it as they go up the hill. We've seen this a few times today already, but a late move could be made up the inside of the right-hander. Tries for the race lead, and Richard Holmes-Williams does indeed go through, but has to give the position back. He got a great entrance, but a poor exit speed, which means out of all of that, Brendan Payne does make the position back for the lead. Will Howarth, fastest lap on that last lap, into 4th place. He's not far off Matt Birkin for 3rd place as well. So, what did we say just a moment ago? He could yet take a podium. 55.842 on that last lap. He's going so much quicker than everyone else around him. Even the race leaders by a second and a bit. He is pulling out a serious one. It's what could have been maybe in this race. Final lap flag to go though. Brandon Payne and Richard Holmes-Williams. Holmes-Williams trying to look around the outside of turn number 2, the right-hander. Gets his nose in front. He's trying for the race lead on Ryder's right-hand side. A better run up the hill though for Brandon Payne, which means he'll take the position coming into Christmas Corner, turn number 3. A real cat and mouse battle. Fantastic stuff here at Wilton Mill for the first of the senior mini moto races. Will Howarth confirmed on the podium. And as we've got someone down actually at turn number 6, I'm not sure who that is. In fact, that looks like that was a battle for our race lead. So, just 1 second. So we got just a few moments now. Brandon Payne, therefore, looks, well, just 1 minute, just will come through for a final time. And he will take the victory in the first of the senior mini moto. Wait, I'll be 1 minute here. Senior mini moto race. Up towards the line they come. Brandon Payne and checker flag is out. So Brandon Payne is about to take the victory, the first one in the senior mini motos race for this weekend. And Richard Holmes-Williams, in fact, does come round for that victory ahead of Will Howarth and Brandon Payne. Matt Birkin came over the line for 4th place. Mark Payne is in 5th place. 6th for Andy Whedon. 7th will be Ryan Grant, I believe, over the line. Yes, it is. Bernie Hook will be in 8th. Nick Bennett, Chris Yeomans, Ross Michael, Josh Darter, Paul Nichols and Paul Peters will come over the line now to complete the order for that race. And in fact, we've got a couple of guests up in the commentary box. Yes, so they have done some great stuff indeed. So we've got 2 guys. So let's just introduce yourselves. What are your guys' names, sorry?
AC40 Rookies.
Okay, and what's your name, sorry?
Matthew.
So you're Matthew and you're?
Guy.
Okay, so how did you get on in that first race then?
Well, I was 15th, and the guy with dude on his bum, I overtook him. He came back, and I went on the curb, and then he was like very much in front, and that I was quite annoyed.
Oh dear, that doesn't sound too good at all. It was quite an action-packed first race, that one today. It looked quite hot out there as well. Was it quite warm on the bike?
Yeah, it was quite warm.
Did that make it difficult to sort of concentrate, or?
Well, it was okay, but it was just quite annoying I didn't know where to get past and everything.
But of course you got 2 more races tomorrow, so I bet you're looking forward to those.
Yeah, I got 2 more chances, so fingers crossed for those 2.
Well, fingers crossed. Well, thank you very much for coming up. It's great to have you up. In fact, if anyone else down in the paddock after or before your races want to come up and say hello, so...
He's Dutch.
Of course, is there anything you'd like to add to that? Okay.
Yeah. Dutch.
So you've got your Dutch friend there as well. How did his race? Okay. So what else? So how did your race get on then? Was it good for him as well?
Hoe was jouw race? Good.
Good, very good. That's good. Man of many words.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for the both of you for coming up.
Yeah.
Best of luck for your races tomorrow. Thank you for coming to join us. I'm sorry, what was your name again? It was?
Matthew.
Matthew. Nice to meet you, Matthew. And
Matthew
your
what?
Matthew what?
Guy.
And Guy. So yeah, best of luck to you two. Where do you start? Do you know where you start in the races tomorrow?
I don't actually know.
Well, we can get the grids if you'd like to have a look. So I'll pass you over the grids now. So I'll let you two have a quick look at where you're going to be starting tomorrow. They're just having a look at the sheet now, so we'll find out in just a moment. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dan Marr, and well done, by the way, on commentating on that last race. It was seemingly an equally...
18,
So you're 18th.
and Guy here is starting 16th.
So it will be Guy Darren then starting in 16th from the Netherlands, and Matthew Ruiz-Barak is in 18th position. So that's going to be quite interesting races for you two. So best of luck tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up.
And yes, thank you to all the people who have sent in messages of support on the Facebook live stream, either on the FAB-Racing Facebook live stream or on the Motorsport Radio Facebook live stream, because we are multicasting, I suppose, live streaming everywhere. William Birkin was sending in a lot of support, saying, "Go on track to boy." For the Birkin who was racing on track just then, and hello to Julie Holmes, who's also tuned in live on via Facebook as well, and big hello to Rachel Owen and Richard Williams, Jenny Data as well, and everybody. I'm presuming a lot of people here at the track also tuned in here today. We are at Cool Fab Racing on Twitter. We are logged in and ready to read out your messages of support. Let us know who you are supporting. If you're supporting a team, if you're listening online and you're not here at the track, let us know either way. It'd be fantastic to read out your wonderful messages of support. So, races still to come here this afternoon. We've got the Junior LC40 race coming up very, very shortly. Pit Bike 140, a moto team race. After that, then it's Mini GP70s, and then Pit Bike Open after that, and then AC40 Pros, and ending the day is the Mini F1 sidecars. And don't forget, for ladies who are at the track this weekend, the Ladies Wine Afternoon starts at 4 p.m, so do not miss that. I'm sure you'll also have it scheduled on your phone as well. 4 p.m, the Ladies Wine Afternoon. Why not? Treat yourself. So Damar is poised and pounced and refreshed and ready to commentate on our next race. Currently on a green flag lap at the moment.
Yep, so the Junior LC40 is the first race of the weekend for them. They're currently on their formation lap coming up to the grid. Interestingly, we've got one rider who's stopped out on turn number 1. They're just trying to go and have a look, see if they can restart the bike. I'm not sure. We got another one stopped up at turn number 7, so there's a couple of marshals trying to get the bikes restarted so they can take their positions on the grid. We'll go through the grid, in fact, in just a few moments' time, but of course Casey O'Gorman will be starting on pole position. Number 7, of course, 360 points, 84 ahead of Ross Maguire, who will be lining up alongside him on the front row on 276 points, and then on 161 points it will be Declan Connell on number 33. So as we've got one bike back out there on the formation lap coming up towards the grid, we've got someone else not off. We'll try and having a look and seeing who that is, but a little bit far away from my there might well be, in fact, a second warm-up lap. We're not too sure. They're trying to get the bikes restarted, although they are both stragglers getting towards the grid now, so it looks all right. They're just coming up to the grid now. I'm not sure what's happening at the moment, but we will let you know as soon as what happens. And of course, Casey O'Gorman has not taken his position, so Casey O'Gorman was one of those who didn't make it to the grid. Is just about to come up to the grid now, though, so we're just having a look now to see what happens. Casey therefore takes his position on the front of the grid ahead of the green flag lap, and we'll find out just a few moments. It looks like we will be getting a full green flag lap, although we are waiting word from race control as to what happens. Just the final preparations ahead of the race, making sure everyone's up and running. Of course, we had a couple of bikes, as we said, we're struggling a little bit, struggled a little bit. Maybe it's the heat, we're not quite sure, but we're waiting to see. We're just asking now, so 3 different conversations at once. This is always interesting. I believe we're going to be good to go. We're trying to keep an eye on it, so we'll keep an eye on that. I think we're good to go. Yep, so indicating the green flag lap is away. Someone's dropped their phone on the grid, which luckily did manage to pick it up, although that could have been more hairy as the bikes were coming towards them. Onto the green flag lap then, and it will be Casey O'Gorman and Ross Maguire on the first row of the grid, with Evan Belford and Bailey Stewart Campbell on row 2. Row 3 will be Ollie Walker and Emmanuel Brinton. Row 4 will be Declan Connell and Taylor Stewart Campbell, with Josh Bannister and Mason Foster on row 5. Row 6, Johnny Garness and Charlie Tilley. Row 7, Ryan Hitchcock and Evan Pendrell. Row 8 is Cameron Sewell and Jack Kirch. Troy Jeffrey and Taylor Lawrence will be starting on row 9 for the first of the Junior LC40s liquid cooled bikes. Always interesting. They'll go a little bit quicker, of course, thanks to their liquid cooling course. Just makes them a little bit cooler, makes it more interesting. And as they come up towards the grid then, for the final grid, we've... So as we are now coming up to the grid then, for the first of the junior LC40 races of the weekend, Casey O'Gorman does take to the grid, and everyone makes sure that the bikes are running fine, revving his bike an extra bit, as you could probably hear through the audio feed, just to make sure it's running cleanly and running as it needs to be. Getting ready then for the start of this race. Can the man in second place, Ross McGuire, make a good start? We've seen that with most of the guys around here. Just seems to be a better run on the outside of turn number 1. Can we see this again in this race? We're going to find out in just a moment. Marshall's preparing to get the green flag. We've got a couple of bikes being looked at the moment. That is the 4th place bike of Bailey Stewart Campbell being looked at to make sure it's all running cleanly. Everyone else sat on the grid revving. Yep, looks like we've been given the all clear. The Marshall then looks to the start line. We get the red lights on in just a second. Revs are rising. We are getting ready for the start of the first junior LC40 race. Green flag, and it's a decent start from Casey O'Gorman, enough to get him into the lead again. It looked like it was Ross McGuire who would be in second place. A battle for third between Evan Belford and Bailey Stewart Campbell, looking quite tight as well. Brinton moves up to 5th on that start ahead of Ollie Walker. Ryan Hitchcock and Troy Jeffrey in 12th and 13th made a good start ahead of Cameron Saul. Evan Penjol struggled off the line there and sits in 14th at the moment, down to 15th actually. Jack Kirch in 16th, but as everyone comes through turn number 6 for the first time out of 8, and Casey O'Gorman doing what he does best, leading from the front, going to take the frustration of a couple of races ago, use that to really push as hard as he can, and in fact he's got a decent gap already. The battle for second looking like the closest as they come through the left and the right of the boots for the first time, and as they are currently crossing the line, it will be Casey O'Gorman who takes the lead of the race. 1.192 seconds ahead of Evan Belford. Belford in second ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell and Ross McGuire. A great battle for second place. Will be 5th for Brinton, 6th for Walker, Declan Connell in 7th, 8th for Josh Bannister, Johnny Garnett in 9th, 10th for Ryan Hitchcock. Mason Foster has dropped back to 12th place. Taylor Stewart Campbell struggling on that lap as well. Troy Jeffrey down in 13th, 14th for Cameron Saul, Jack Kirch 15th, and F.L. Pendrell 16th. Charlie, Tilly and Taylor Lawrence not coming over the line. So as they make their way through turns 6 and 7th, 6 and 7 for the second time out of 8, still early on in this race, but Casey O'Gorman, fantastic run from him. Evan Belford does seem to be clearing Bailey Stewart Cameron a little bit, so it's Bailey and Ross in 3rd and 4th, 69 or 99 rather, and 22, having a decent battle as they come over the line for the second time. Casey pulling out 1.4 seconds now, the gap between himself and Evan Belford. Ollie Walker moving up into 5th place ahead of Brinton. Taylor Stewart Campbell recovering slightly up into 11th place ahead of Mason Foster, who drops back even further. Through Christmas Corner, they're going now in turn number 6. The battle for second place, the closest thing we've got so far on circuit up at the front, but it's a battle for third we're really interested in, because Bailey Stewart Campbell can't shake off Ross McGuire just at the moment through turn number 7, picking up the power, and again just seems to be a little bit slower. Ross closing in slightly through the back straight. This is where Bailey seems to be getting a little bit better in terms of straight line speed and into the braking zone for the left-hander. So as they come through now for the second time out of 8, Matt's crossed the line for lap 3. And it's even more now, 1.596 between Belford and O'Gorman for the race lead. Johnny Garnett has moved up to 8th place actually, so a great move from him. Coming through turn number 2, just pulls away at the moment from Josh Bannister as they go up the hill. A much bigger pulling away. Coming up towards turn number 6 though is the battle for 3rd place once again. Bailey Stewart Campbell having to defend ever so slightly coming through the hairpin. Ross McGuire looking very feisty indeed, and tries to force his way maybe up the inside coming through 6. Didn't quite work, so through 7 and 8 he's been compromised, having to stay line astern at the moment. We'll just have to pick and choose his moments. Still plenty of time in this race, 5 laps left to go. And also the battle, which I believe again was for 7th and 8th. It's good through turns 7 and 8 actually, because they were quite close down the straight, and he's pulling out a little bit, but not quite enough to catch up. Top 4 the same, 1.3 seconds the gap on that last lap. Casey not as quick as Evan Belford. Bailey Stewart Campbell struggling up the hill. Ross McGuire more than ever trying to go up the inside. We've got a yellow flag at the moment at turn number 2. Someone's gone into the tyre wall. The cop still sat on the bike trying to get it restarted, although head slumped in terms of their hands, so they're not happy that they can't get it to restart. It's a shame really, they're just desperate trying to get that bike restarted, and unfortunately looks like it's not playing ball, so I can't see who that is. So yeah, of course. So as they come up towards the marshal going over it, the pair of them can't get the bike restarted, so struggling. A shame that might be their race run, which is a shame really. But meanwhile, as we come through the boot, yellow flags at turn 1 and 2, that takes away, but the bike does get restarted. It was there, so yellow flags are rescinded. Did take out for a short while one of the better overtaking opportunities, but they come up the hill for the next time. I think it was Brinton who struggled at turn number 1 as he drops down the timing screen for me. So top 4 have really broken away from the rest of them now. The battle for third, once again, the closest thing at the moment, 0.166 of a second between Bailey Stewart Campbell and Ross McGuire. They seem very evenly matched, especially around the latter half of the lap. It seems to be Ross gets a good run through turn 2 and up the hill, but Bailey just manages enough to get a decent straight line speed up towards the boot. And through the right-hander, threading their way through the right-hander. It's going to be very tight though. It's closed up significantly as they're about to cross the line nearly side by side. The battle for second, third and fourth. Very tight indeed, just barely half a second covering them. Someone off at turn number 1 again. And again on the bike, trying to get the bike restarted. I'm not sure whether they can get it. Maybe they're just having an issue. I'm not quite sure, so we'll have to wait and see. But Marshall's attending the bike, I think. It was Brinton again, pulling over just to see if they can get the bike restarted. A shame really for them. But 6 laps completed, 2 laps left to go. Casey O'Gorman, fastest lap, 55.7. He did a 56.1 on that last lap. Evan Belford not quite closing in. Bailey Stewart Campbell did his fastest lap on that last lap to try and pull away from Ross McGuire. And it's worked for him so far for third place, although it's closed up again for third and fourth, so getting tight on one lap. Last lap flag already out. Casey, touch wood this time, has a good result, 55.4 for Casey O'Gorman on that last lap. He's really pushing. Belford second, third for Stewart Campbell and fourth for McGuire. McGuire's still not got too much to do, and yellow flags as they pull the bike away for Brinton. And we've also got one stuck at the top. I'm not sure who that is, but that's at Christmas Corner, turn number 3, waiting for the marshal's recovery. Again, the bike looks like it's not playing ball with him, but as we've just got half a lap left to go, it will be Casey O'Gorman who's going to take the win in this race. I say that as I'm desperately looking for any of the back markers just to make sure no one's going to get in the way this time. The battle for second's the one that looks really close as well, but Casey O'Gorman looks like he's going to get the position, but Ross McGuire and Stewart Campbell, they're almost going to go side by side through the boot for the final time. Can they do it? Casey O'Gorman takes the victory, but the battle for second, oh so close, but over the line the three of them go. Evan Belford does take second place in the end, ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell and Ross McGuire. Ollie Walker takes 5th in the end. A great battle that looks to be going on for 6th, 7th and 8th. Connell was leading that one on the previous lap, but as they cross the line now, in fact, he will take position. So it's Johnny Garnett, in fact, in 6th place ahead of Declan Connell and Josh Bannister. Ryan Hitchcock is due to come over in 9th place. Mason Foster in 10th. Taylor Stewart Campbell in 11th. 12th for Jack Kirch. Cameron Saul in 13th. Troy Jeffrey in 14th. And Manuel Brinton, of course, obviously having issues earlier in the 93. Avan Panjot and Taylor Lawrence struggling in that one. And that was the first of the Junior LC40 races of the weekend. Let's hope the next one is going to be quite as entertaining as that one. But up next, though, will be the PB 140s and moto teams. They're going to be a great spectacle.
Certainly will, yes, and it's thank you very much, incidentally, for doing a brilliant job commentating on that. Another fantastic race and another fantastic win for Casey O'Gorman. Brilliant to to see him performing out on track and doing really well, and as is all of the riders really. Evan Belford finishing second, and Stuart Campbell finishing in third in that race. 2 more races for these guys to go in the junior LC40 category anyway this weekend, and others featuring in other categories, as you may already know. Up next, it is the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team categories, and we are right now live on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page, and I've been diligently monitoring everybody's wonderful comments who's been tuned in live, and thank you very much to Raquel and Amy and lots of friends and family who's been tuned in either at home or here at the track. If you don't have the benefit of being in front of one of the loudspeakers here at trackside. So Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team coming up next. They are just in the holding area and getting ready to pounce out on track and get ready for their green flag lap. After these guys, it's the Mini GP70's first race, followed by Pit Bike Open, AC40 Pro, and Mini F1 sidecars as the next guys come out onto track, and the likes of Brad Ray and Blake Hansel racing in this race, and Brandon Perrell as well, and loads of names that listeners online who are familiar with some of the support series in BSB will already know as well. Brad Ray, it's great to see him back here racing again, pretty much for fun, Danmar.
Yes, exactly. It's great to see some of the former riders in the championship coming back to enjoy a bit of fun racing. Of course, Brad Ray doing well in the British Superbikes, and of course some other great names in this as well. Brad Ray, in fact, we've got a 30 bike grid. It's a fantastic and packed grid for this one, so it's going to take some reading to do. They're coming in on the green flag lap, just coming up to make sure they're in the right positions for the grid before the formation lap. And it's Brad Ray who will start on pole position ahead of Blake Ansell. Of course, 2 classes in this one. We'll go over that in a minute. James Blackburn and Jamie King will start row 2. Row 3 is Mark Evans and Will Howarth. Alex Vella and Sam Clowes will be starting on row 4. Darren Anderson and Sean Whittaker on row 5. Row 6 is Ben Pascoe and Elliot Lodge. Row 7 is Brandon Perrell and Fraser Kinnaird. Row 8 is Ben Brunt and Simon Close, Neil Kinnaird and Mark Pollitt on row 9. Row 10 is Vince Bailey and Tony Campana Sr. Keith Bolton and Peter Robertson on row 11. Row 12 is Anthony Perrell and Alistair Kinnaird, Leo Smith and Tony Campana Jr. Row 13. Row 14 is Brady Toomer and Bernie Hook. Gary O'Keefe and Michael Elms are on row 15th and the back of the grid. So of course we've got the Moto Team, the PB140s in this one as well. So pit bikes, big, nice pit bikes, and of course we've got the Moto Teams, which might be what you're more akin to see on Grand Prix bike racing. Both in the same racing, very similar in terms of pace, different ways of doing it, obviously, as they're on the grid, about to go onto the green flag lap. Make sure everything's running. And this could well be a race start, actually. We're not sure, so we'll keep an eye on it. Everyone getting ready. So everyone just getting ready. A bit of tension building, always great to see. 3 races for them this weekend. This is going to be a very loud, thunderous 12-lap race. So we're going to watch this with some entertainment as they are about to be unleashed onto the circuit. Waiting for the all clear to be given. Make sure everyone's in position. A massive grid, as we said a moment ago. So, 1 being held up. And here we go, 1 green flag lap then. So everyone pulls away just to make sure they're all running fine. And we've got 1 straggler there, actually, who's just pulled off the grid, but only makes it up towards turn 1 very slowly indeed. So we'll keep an eye on that and see who that is, because they did drop it back. But just a quick update on the championships. Jamie King currently leads the PB140 British Championship ahead of James Blackburn and Ben Pascoe, 293 to 182 and 180. So Blackburn and Pascoe is going to be a race to watch. Of course, just 2 points in it for them. and Alex Vella on 1.72, so quite close for second place in that championship. For the Moto team, Sam Clowes leads that on the 1.33, ahead of Will Howarth on 2.04, or 2.39 for Sam Clowes, 2.04 for Will Howarth, 1.98 for Fraser Kinnaird, and 1.79 for Keith Bolton. So close in both championships, and as they make their way up towards the boot for the green flag lap, everyone getting into position. This will be the race start. Okay, so Sam Clowes then, and everyone makes their way up to the position on the grid, getting ready for the race start. Like I say, a 30 bike grid, so plenty of people to get into position. So we'll get the green flag from the back in just a moment. The marshals are happy, pointing up towards the starting gantry. Then the red lights will come on in any second, getting ready for the race start. Red lights on now. Out the red light goes. Decent start there from Brad Ray. Blake Ansell as well, not doing too badly. James Blackburn was trying to force his way up the inside into second place, but has to settle for third place. We've got a massive gaggle of bikes coming up the hill and up towards Christmas Corner for the first time, but Brad Ray has taken the race lead on this 12-lap race, and it's up towards turn number 6, the right-handed hairpin for the first time. All rather tight indeed, of course, with these two different classes. A couple of bikes going onto the grass already, trying to get that extra traction, a bit of extra momentum through turns 7 and 8. The battle for second place between Ansell and Blackburn looking rather feisty indeed, and that actually could be the battle for the lead as they follow through the boot, the left and then the right for the first time out of 12 over the line. And Brad Ray's not going to have it all his way. Blake Ansell is going to be challenging over the line. So James Blackburn comes over the line for third. Jamie King up into fourth. Alex Vellum into fifth, ahead of Mark Evans and Will Howarth. Sam Clowes led in 8th place, with Sean Whisker in 9th, 10th for Darren Anderson. Ben Pascoe is in 11th, 12th for Brandon Perrill. Fraser Kinnaird in 13th, 14th for Elliot Lodge, 15th for Neil Kinnaird. And for the rest of the grid, it will be Simon Clowes in 16th, Mark Pollett in 17th, 18th for Ben Brunt, Tony Campana Senior in 19th, 20th place for Leo Smith. We'll go through the rest of the grid in a few moments, but the battle for the race lead, 3-bike battle between Brad Ray, Blake Ansell and James Blackburn. Ray does very well in the first portion of the lap and then just seems to struggle a bit through the final portions, going around the back straight, through the boot and the pit turn for the final corner, and is very slow in fact out of the final corner. Looks over his left shoulder to make sure Blake Ansell's not too close, and he was quite close, but struggles with turn number 1. So Brad Ray making the best out of it. A great run though from James Blackburn. He's going to go 3 wide as they come up towards the Christmas Corner on the very right hand side for James Blackburn. He did take the lead ever so briefly. Brad Ray using his years of experience though to make his way through and just use the cutback in order to retake the position. So James Blackburn up into second place, down to third place for Blake Ansell. A bit of a sitting duck really there. But so Jamie King with the fastest lap on that last lap, 1.7 seconds behind the leaders, 54.260, all very tight at the front. And as they make their way now through the boot, it's between Brad Ray and I believe James Blackburn as they come through the final couple of corners. Now they're going to go side by side. They're very close through the exit of the pit turn over the line. Almost squeezes him onto the grass there for James Blackburn. Brad Ray does take the position though, so he's still in the lead ahead of James Blackburn, Jamie King, Alex Vella, Mark Evans, Will Howarth, Sam Clowes, Whittaker, Anderson and Pascoe, with Blake Ansell, I think, dropping back. You've got someone off at turn number 6 and 7, so so I think Ray's actually gone down to second place in all of the madness, with James Blackburn taking the position on the exit of turn number 6, lead through turns 7 and 8. Brad Ray's not seen this in this race so far. He's not seen the back of anyone else really, so he's going to have to think of a way through. Some great riding from the pair of them, but Blackburn through the boot, yellow flag at the exit of the boot with someone just trying to get their bike restarted at the moment. But Brad Ray is down to second place with Blackburn over the line. Fastest lap for him on that one, 54.238. 0.2 of a second may seem a lot from some of the classes, but in this it's absolutely nothing. They were wheel to wheel going up towards the Christmas corner. Very tight indeed through the right hand of the complex, the right, the left, the right, and another right, which is the hairpin. And Brad Ray, is he going to go for the carback? I have a sense he is. They're very tight on that apex. They get the bike stopped very nicely indeed, using all the concrete exit in order to get the position. There's also a great battle going on for 4th place at the moment, which was Alex Vella over the line on that last lap. Mark Evans, Will Howarth and Sam Clowes as well, all getting involved in that 4-bike battle, which sees the first of the Moto team bikes in there with the pit bikes, so all competing on more or less level pegging. Brad Ray fastest lap on that last lap, but he is still in 2nd place behind James Blackburn, the 132 ahead of the 28. Mark Evans now up into 4th place with Alex Vella down to 5th. It is Will Howarth and Simon Clowes in 6th and 7th. That great battle there. Great battles all around at the moment, but as they make their way up towards turn number 6, 5 laps completed, nearly the halfway distance already, can you believe? But it still is Brad Ray having to battle for the lead of the race. The battle for 4th place as well. Mark Evans at the head of that so far, gone onto the grass trying to defend. Great stuff, really holding each other up, which is slowing them down so more people can catch up, but providing some entertaining racing as they go down the main straight, or the back straight, up towards the boot, the left-hander. Sam Clowes trying to have a look at the inside. James Blackburn and Brad Ray coming over the line to start the half distance. Great stuff from them. They went around the outside each of a back marker, so some great stuff from there. But Alex Vella's made his way back up into 4th place. Mark Evans down to 5th. Will Howarth and Sam Clowes also trying really hard to catch up the hill. They're going to try and go side by side. Mark Evans does go up the inside to try and maintain the position. Alex Vella's not having much of it though. So an update then at the half distance. It is James Blackburn in the lead of the race ahead of Brad Ray, Jamie King, Alex Vella, Mark Evans, Will Howarth and Sam Clowes, your top 7 ahead of Whittaker, Anderson and Pascoe. So as they make their way around now, crossing the line for lap number 7. Lots of bikes out there. There's definitely some traffic coming up for them soon, and quite a lot of traffic coming up for them as well. Fastest lap then, 53.909 for James Blackburn. Him and Brad Ray really challenging laps for each other to make sure they can really keep on top of each other. Just 1/4 of a second between the pair of them as someone goes wide up at turn number 6, just trying to avoid everything going off in the grass, but carries on. So the leaders are now encountering traffic, which is going to add a whole new dimension to this battle. We've seen midfield having some fantastic squabbling, really entertaining stuff, especially for the riders, because you can have a battle with pretty much everyone. So as they make their way now through 7 and 8, it's looking very tight indeed, and it's just slowing each other up. This is what's a nightmare for the riders really, because you're trying to battle away for the race lead. They've managed to get through a couple of them fine, but we'll see how it is in just a moment's time. James Blackburn's in the lead. Brad Ray a little bit closer than he was on the previous lap, coming through turn 1 and 2. Absolutely close as can be. You've got to thread through so many different riders. For them it's unbelievable. The battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Still Mark Evans now at the lead of that. Jamie King's having a very quiet race at the moment in 3rd place, but it's Mark Evans, Alex Vella, Will Howarth and Sam Clowes to 7th place, turn 1 and 2. And it's fantastic stuff. Again, the battle for the lead. This is what this kind of racing is. 30 bikes on track, or 28 I believe at the moment, for the PB140s and moto teams. Such different bikes, but having such a close race with each other. 2 championships in one, very close for each other, but as they're about to cross the line for lap 9 out of 12, so just 3 and a bit laps remaining anyway for them. So 0.595 is the gap between Brad Ray and James Blackburn. So Blackburn's still in the lead and has got a more comfortable lead than he's had at any point in the race. The traffic has really not helped Brad Ray. It has for James Blackburn. Will Howarth has moved up to 5th place, 6th place for Sam Clowes, Alex Vella down to 7th, who was in 4th place at one point. So he's had a couple of tricky laps for him as well. Up towards Christmas corner they go as well, and further down the field as well. It is still Darren Anderson, still second in class for the moto teams ahead of Fraser Kinnaird. Brandon Perrill in 12th place. 13th place for Neil Kinnaird, ahead of Simon Clowes, Mark Pollitt, Ben Brunt in 15th and 16th. Tony Campana Senior ahead of Elliot Lodge and Keith Bolton. 20th place Leo Smith. Vince Bailey's gotten ahead of Anthony Perrill. Peter Robertson in 23rd. Over the line now, lap 10. 2 laps left to go. 1 second the gap between Blackburn and Ray. Can Ray pull something out of his bag in the next 2 laps in order to close up to Blackburn? Blackburn just seems to have gone off ever since the traffic has come out. Of course, it's gotten a bit warmer in the temperature of the track as well. We did have a brief respite with cloud coverage, but now the sun's come firmly out as well, making it even hotter on those bikes. So as we get to the later stages in this race, and James Blackburn's really enjoying it, looking over his right shoulder going through turn number 9 just to make sure, see where Brad Ray is. Not too close, not too intimidating for him so far, but Blackburn through the final corner. The final lap flag is being waved, so only one more lap for him to do. Fastest lap on that last lap, 53.836, which means 1.7 seconds to gap between James and Brad for first and second. Jamie King over the line to come third on the final lap. Mark Evans was in the lead of that battle for fourth. Fifth is Will Howarth, sixth is Sam Clowes, and Alex Vella in seventh at the moment. So the leading moto team of Will Howarth currently in 5th place. The next one down the road is in 10th place at the moment. Darren Anderson just on his fastest lap, but a second on the moto team ahead of Fraser Kinnaird. So really mixing in Will Howarth compared to the pit bike guys out there. Really big grunty engines, which helps them get off the corners very quickly indeed, which even somewhere around here with some of the quicker corners helps a lot. And the checker flag is about to be waved as James Blackburn, left fist punching in the air. He's very happy with that victory. Had a Brad Ray 2.428 seconds ahead of the Brad Ray, the BSB rider. So great stuff for them. So James Blackburn takes the checker flag. Jamie King, a very lonely 3rd place, it must be said. A great race from him though. Good ride, not really had to deal with many people. Mark Evans just come over in 4th, ahead of Will Howarth, Sam Clowes and Alex Vella. In 7th place, or just come over now, Sean Whittaker in 8th. 9th will be Ben Pascoe, with Darren Anderson taking 2nd place in class, and Fraser Kinnaird in 3rd in class for Moto Team, 10th and 11th. Brandon Perrill due to come over the line now, and he will be in 12th place with Neil Kinnaird. Simon Clowes, Ben Brunt in 15th place, then it will be Mark Pollitt, Tony Campana Senior, running out to the top 16 and 17, with the rest of the field just coming over the line now. So a very tight race in the first of the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team races out there. So some great entertainment there. We're going to see them out twice again tomorrow, and hopefully, if that is an indication of how good it is going to be, well, they've got 2 bouts of this tomorrow, so let's hope for more of the same, ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic race there from James Blackburn to take the victory from Brad Ray. But Brad Ray, he didn't make it easy, did he, Lester?
Certainly not, yeah, and well, you'd have to maybe wonder whether he was anticipating such a hard-fought battle from Mr. James Blackburn. Brad Ray, who'd have thought it, eh? There you go, getting well and truly shown who's boss in race 1 of 3 in the Pit Bike 140 Moto Team race this weekend. Thank you very much to Dan Marr. And up next on the schedule, it is the Mini GP70 first race of the weekend. The riders not really assembled in the assembly area, so it may be a couple of minutes before we see them out on track. Incidentally, we are running just a couple of minutes ahead of schedule, not extremely too far, but we will of course keep you up to date with if we are running behind or ahead of schedule. And of course, we now have a brand new app as well that you can download and get race control messages directly as well. So it doesn't matter if you're not near a PA speaker, if you're here at the track, of course, because it will, if you want to keep in touch with the race control messages, you can download the Mixler app if you're here at the track and find the Cool FAB-Racing profile, and you can get all the direct updates from Roger Keys and the team via that way. So heading out onto track, pretty much on time. Almost. Yeah, pretty much bang on schedule. It's the Mini GP70s for their first race this weekend. And one quick message that's come in via our Facebook account, Cool FAB-Racing on Facebook. This is from Philip Long. Can you wish our grandson all the very best for this weekend? Rossi Banham, number 13. Lots of love from Nanny, Grandad, on holidays in Spain. So, Danmar, we have an international audience listening and tuned in live, which is good.
Always good. It's fantastic to hear from all the families of the guys and girls here, isn't it? It's great to see the support that you get no matter where you are in the world. The wonders of the internet, really, isn't it? But I'll tell you something else you don't want to miss, of course. Ladies' Wine Afternoon, that's in about 10 minutes. That's from 4 to 5. Ooh. We're nearly at 4 o'clock already, can you believe it? We've only been racing for an hour and a half, but it's just flown by. But now it's time for the Mini GP70s. And it will be as they come onto the dummy grid ahead of their formation lap, which will be in just a moment's time. And it is Harvey Claridge who is due to start on pole position ahead of Callum Beach, with Casey O'Gorman and Jay Abel on row 2, with Brodie Crockford and Louis Rendell on row 3, Owen Mellor and Luke Coggins on row 4. Row 5 is Oscar Pinson and Elliot Dufton. Chris Johnson in 11th place is last on row 6, as we are on the green flag lap, the formation lap ahead of the first Mini GP70 race of the day. Just as a reminder, of course, that we'll be seeing them out tomorrow as well at 12 noon tomorrow, and also at 3:15 for 2 races tomorrow as well. Harvey Claridge leads the championship, but only just on 238 ahead of Joshua Watley on 225, Brodie Crockford on 219 points, Jay Abel in 4th with 205 points, 198 points is Louis Rendell, so it is all rather close. There's 40 points covering the top 5 in the championship, so still all to play for as we get ever closer to the end of the season. It doesn't feel like all that long ago when we were just getting underway with the season, so it's sort of time flies by when you're having fun, doesn't it, Lester?
Certainly does, yes, exactly. Yeah, this first GP70 race, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't want to say anything, because obviously I don't want to jinx anyone, but I'm excited.
It's going to be close, it's going to be a very close affair. And as they make their way up to the grid, you can hear the revving in the background. They sound oh so wonderful, don't they? We're about to get underway. The marshals, just a few last minute pep talks from a couple of the guides as well. We're getting ready, the grid is formed, and we are waiting for the marshal at the back to give the all green. Yep, so we are about to get underway then. The marshals point to the front lights. The red light will be on in just a moment. Red lights are on, and there we go, drop the light there, and a great start from Harvey Claridge. Gets off like the proverbial. What a great start from him to take the lead. A good couple of bike lengths already as they go through turn 2 and 3, with Callum Beach in 2nd place. Up towards Christmas Corner for the first time, through the right, the left, the right, and then up towards the hairpin at turn number 6. 12-lap race this one, so it is a little bit longer with the heat we're seeing outside. We mentioned a couple of guys listening from Spain, and of course it does feel a bit like Spain, doesn't it, with all the heat we've got out there today. Definitely not like it was earlier on this week, but it's great to have some great temperatures, but it's going to be so difficult on those bikes. It's sweltering in the commentary box, let alone on those bikes, so I can only scarcely imagine what it's like out there. But it was a great start from Harvey Claridge to take the lead in the race. They go through the boot already, so quick these bikes are. And as they're about to cross the line for the first time, it's Harvey Claridge ahead of Callum Beach and Jay Abel. Brodie Crockford in 4th place, 5th for Louis Rendell. Luke Coggins in 6th place, 7th for Oscar Pinson, 8th for Elliot Dufton, and 9th for Chris Johnson, who's dropped back. 1.2 seconds the gap is between Harvey Claridge and Callum Beach, as just over the line now goes Chris Johnson. Does seem to be struggling a bit, 16 seconds behind the race leaders. But as they come through turn number 7 and 8 for the first time, the two left-handers, it certainly looks a bit closer than maybe the timing screens are letting on. The battle for third between Jay Abel and Brodie Crockford is looking good, and I think Brodie's in fact gotten up into 3rd place as they go through the boot, the left-hander and then the right-hander at the boot for the second time out of 12. I'm going to have to get a good run for Jay Abel, but over the line once again, the top 4 very close together. Over the line they go. Harvey Claridge again, fastest lap. But no, Jay Abel's taken third place and has got the fastest lap, 52.377. They're all very nicely matched indeed. Callum Beach a bit slower, so still Claridge, Beach, Abel and Crockford. No Casey O'Gorman or Owen Mellor on this race, I'm afraid, so they've not taken a start. But the battle for the lead does look really tight indeed, getting very close. And in fact, I could say it might actually be Casey O'Gorman in second place at the moment. It does look it, and in fact, he got a bit of understeer as coming through turn number 8. Trying to make their way now through the left-hander up towards the boot, the hairpin at the right-hander. Linus Stone once again, it was looking so well, got very close through turn number 6. Good run, but ultimately couldn't really hold on as they went through the longer corners at 7 and 8. It's a bit of a challenge to hold on to the front of these bikes. Callum Beach sets the fastest lap on the 127, 1.180, 52.227. Someone out of the pits now though, so we have got someone else rejoining, and it's 1.1 the gap between Claridge and second place, so as they make their way now up towards the next set of corners, lap 3 out of 12. Turn number 8 up towards the next couple of corners, of course, through the boot for the fourth time then. Entertaining stuff indeed. The battle for the lead is still looking it's looking quite solid. The gap 1.1-ish seconds maybe. Casey O'Gorman is trying to hold on though to take the position. Jay Abel with the fastest lap on that last one, 52.069, so trying to close up into third and fourth place. But as they make their way up towards turn number 6, we've got one back marker already who's been struggling a little bit during the course of this race, but they've caught him at turn number 7 and 8, where they're going to have to go around the outside, around the inside, every which way, trying to dive through the traffic to try and make the advantage. And Casey O'Gorman has used that to his advantage to try and close up to the lead, but the battle between Jay Abel and Callum Beach is also looking rather tasty indeed. That's much closer than it has been at prior points in the race, but we've still got 16 in the lead ahead of 7, Claridge ahead of O'Gorman, Jay Abel, and still behind Callum Beach. We've got a good battle for, it's looking like 5th place at the moment. Brady Crockford did come over the line. Louis Rendell did look very close as they went through turn 1 and 2. Did look quite tight, got caught up with one of the back markers, so struggled a bit, but the battle for the lead is really tightened in now. Casey O'Gorman going to try and have a look up the inside of turn number 7, halfway or pretty much halfway through this first mini GP 70 race of the weekend, and Casey O'Gorman did look very close again up towards turn 7 and 8, lost a bit of time through the left-handers, but as they go through the boot once again, tightens up. The slower corners seem to be Casey's real good chance. The faster stuff just washes out a little bit, so over the line as close as can be through 1 and 2. The left-hander, then the long right-hander, Beach and Abel. That's was looking a bit tight, but has opened up a little bit, and of course Louis Rendell has now taken a position on Brody Crockford for 5th place, so Rendell in 5th and 6th for Brody Crockford. Looking very interesting indeed. Once again, it just seems to be that Casey O'Gorman gets very close on the run up towards turn number 6, but as they go on the exit and up towards 7 and 8, they just can't really seem to get the power down and loses a bit of time. But as the race slowly gets closer to the end, we are halfway through, he's settling into the rhythm between Claridge and also, of course, O'Gorman was very nicely sort of set indeed, but as we get a little bit deeper into the race, Casey getting a good level head on, is getting closer through the high speed stuff now, especially through turn number 2 up towards Christmas Bend, and as the pair of them try to run nose to tail effectively. Can he make a late move, Casey, up the inside? He did think about it, but initially held off, runs a bit deeper into the corner now to get a better run, and it has helped through turn number 7, much closer than I've seen him in some time. But as they make their way now up towards the left-hander before the boot, much closer for Casey O'Gorman on this lap compared to what we've seen in some time. Over the line, it could almost be side by side as we get a bit of a deeper run there for obviously for Clarence as well. Casey O'Gorman's really tightened up. He is almost on the back of that bike. Is he going to try and go for right hand side? He's trying it. He's going to have a look, but initially doesn't know that he has a very late move to try and dive up the inside. Wasn't any room really there, so he had to back out on that one, but he's really signalling his intent now. That's the important thing he needs to be doing. He just needs to say, look, I'm here, mate, I'm coming through. Something does fall off the back of his bike, though, so we've had a piece of debris that's come on to turn number 6, yellow flag, just to warm. It's fallen off the back of the number 7 bike and has dropped back a little bit, though, so Claridge can breathe a little bit. Marshall's just going to recover that object, so turn number 6 and all will be fine in a moment. Yeah, kicked it off circuit, so yellow flags do come back in. And as they come up towards the final corner and over the line once again, Claridge 16 and 7. It's been the story of this race, not changing, but on lap 9 now, 3 laps left to go. The battle for third place as well, looking very tight between Jay Abel and Callum Beach. Beach currently in the head of that position. We've got someone stopped at turn number 8, trying to restart the bike, fiddling around. One of the marshals going over to assist them. Hopefully they can get underway, but at turn number 6, the lead battle not really changing, the battle for third not really changing. It just seems to ebb and flow as they go throughout the circuit at the moment. And I'm pretty sure though Casey's throwing everything he's got at it, but can't quite make the position through the left-hander and up towards the boot. Turning through the right-handed hairpin, the second last corner, now through the last corner, the pit bend over the line, and Claridge has 2 laps left to go. He's soaked up so much pressure. As they make their way through up towards Christmas Bend for the second last time again, Casey O'Gorman just can't quite close in enough. He's trying with the cutback, he's just not getting much further in terms of outright pace. It's a great battle though for them, deep into the corner, on the exit, not doing too badly as well, running onto the tarmac or the concrete area as well, which has really sort of struggled with the front end. Casey's getting close, just going through, and as they get quite close now up towards the last couple of corners, the last lap flag is being prepped, ready to be flown on this lap now. So as they come up towards the final corner for the second last time, the final lap flag is waving. Can Claridge keep hold, or can Casey O'Gorman take it? Casey is getting much closer through turn 1 and through turn 2. Hits the apex quite nicely. Going to get a decent run up towards Christmas Bend, but Harvey Claridge just seemed to have a good run. And as they come through Christmas Bend, the right-hander, and through the complex, Harvey is soaking up all the pressure from Casey O'Gorman. I'm running out of superfluous to really use. Turning through turn number 6, very tight indeed. Casey O'Gorman's using all of the exit curb he can, but it is not quite enough. Just a handful of corners now. Turn number 8, the left-hander, along the left-hander. Claridge does go a bit deeper. Can Casey go for the move? He's only got a couple of corners left to go. He's not close enough through the left-hander or the right-hander at the boot up towards pit bend, the final corner, unless he can go side by side. I don't think he can. He's not going to get enough room. Harvey Claridge comes over the line, takes the victory ahead of Casey O'Gorman. In the end, Jay Abel with the fastest lap, 51.907, and takes 4th place, but 3rd place for Callum Beach. Lou Rendell will come over 5th, 6th for Brodie Crockford. 7th is due to be Luke Coggins. 8th will be Owen Mellor. 9th, Oscar Pinson. A couple laps down for Chris Johnson, Elliot Dufton as well, suffering with issues. And first in the Mini GP70 races, that is over and done with, and what a great race we had there. Great demonstration from Claridge and O'Gorman on how to scrap for the race lead, and a big round of applause for the pair of them, but also for Callum Beach and Jay Abel. All throughout the race, those guys are so close to each other. Couldn't quite do it obviously, but some great scrapping around here. The circuit really does promote some very close, clean racing.
Now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Next race is the Pit Bike Open category, and yes, we'll have more live radio coverage of that. You are listening to live radio coverage, either trackside, online on the Cool Fab Racing website, the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page, motorsport.radio, or the motorsport.radio Facebook page. Literally everywhere, or even we're also on YouTube as well, by the way. I know there's been a lot of comments as well come in on the Facebook page. Thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in, and also yes, we're on Twitter, on Periscope as well. Extra places. We're basically all over the place
everywhere
today, Dan. Yes, and I will try my very, very best to keep up and read all the messages out now that we have a solid, decent, reliable internet stream. So that's good. Next race, Pit Bike Open. After this, it's the AC40 Pro, and we end the day with the Mini F1 sidecars. So Dan Marr has the grid.
I do. I am just getting all my manners of paperwork up in the commentary box, sorted out as we speak. But yes, so it will be the Pit Bike Open, the first race of the weekend. If you happen to be trackside here at the 6th round of the 2017 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championship here at Wilton Mill, of course you'll see these guys really showing off on the green flag lap up to the dummy grid, just pulling wheelies everywhere. Fantastic stuff. But we will see Brandon Payne starting on pole position ahead of Will Howarth, Max Cook and Charlie Nesbitt on row 2, row 3, Gareth Robertson, James Blackburn, Brad Ray and Josh Ingram. 7th and 8th. 9th is Mark Evans, 10th is Ryan O'Grady, 11th place is Jack Walters, Callum Wybrow on 12th, 13th for Sean Whittaker, 14th for Greg Pym, Ben Pascoe 15th, and 16th is Craig Walker. So some interesting stuff going on in this one, and Charlie Nesbitt will be taking pole position, so we will see what happens in just yes, so we can see Charlie Nesbitt actually really kicking the bike to try and make sure it's running healthily, get as many revs through it just to make sure it's running properly. But Charlie Nesbitt, fastest lap in the second qualifying today, 1.442 seconds ahead of Gareth Roberts. He will, I believe, will be starting in second place, so currently lining up in third place. So we're all getting ready on the dummy grid, ready for the green flag lap, and we can get something away. Okay, so on to the green flag lap then, and Charlie Nesbitt is currently starting on the lead of the race, so everyone's just getting that last minute understanding of the circuit. It's a rather warm circuit out there, so these bikes will be enjoying some decent grip out there. Riders will be enjoying a nice glass of water after this one, certainly I will. It's a 12 lap race again. Of course, our race is today a bout of 12 or 8 laps, and then it will be a slightly shorter race for the sidecars at the end of the day as well. And as everyone's getting up to the grid now, forming up, getting ready, as 23 lines up alongside me. Brandon Payne, 212 as well. The race of Charlie Nesbitt to take the position on the start of the grid. Everyone's just getting into position. It looked like all the front runners were at the very back then, just seeping their way through. Parking up for one moment, and then as the marshal indicates happy with the grid, points up to the start lights. We are getting ready for the start. Red lights are on now, and a decent start there. Charlie Nesbitt is going to take the lead in the race through turn 1 and 2 as they almost go 3 wide through turn 1 and 2 for the first time. Max Cook has joined Charlie at the lead of the field for first and second place as they go through Christmas corner and the next couple of corners up towards turn 6 for the first time. Presentations for the prior race going on downstairs at the commentary box. Charlie Nesbitt running very deep onto the grass to try and get the bike turning as quickly as he can, and has not been able to really shake off Max Cook. So as they go over the back straight for the first time out of 12 and through the left hand of the boot and into the boot, I say as well, Great stuff from them. Charlie Nesbitt will take the lead in the race, but as they come over the line, what is the gap going to be between them and the rest of the field? Well, it's 0.3 of a second between those two. Almost 3 seconds between Will Howarth in third place, who's got Brandon Payne, Ryan O'Grady, Gareth Roberts, Felix Hearn, Josh Ingram, Charlie Wybrow and James Blackburn in 10th place. And Jack Walters, Craig Walker, Greg Pym, Brad Ray and Ben Pascoe in 13th place. 14th for Brad Ray, Ben Pascoe in 15th, 16th for Mark Evans, Sean Whittaker in 17th place. And so first lap completed, 11 to go, and Charlie Nesbitt's really got the pedal to the metal. He's really pushing hard, and as we saw when I was back here with the championship at Tattershall a number of weeks ago now, Charlie Nesbitt was absolutely fantastic, and what I'm seeing so far is going to be more of the same. Fastest lap, 50.3, 0.6 of a second ahead of Max Cook. Will Howarth in third, but Ryan O'Grady moves up to fourth, now disposing Brandon Payne, who's down to fifth. Josh Ingram and a whole load of people have managed to jump ahead of Felix Hearn, who I think has jumped back to the very back of the field, potentially with a problem. So shame for Felix, but as the rest of the field make their way around, it's all some rather entertaining racing, Lester.
Certainly is an entertaining start anyway, as you say, Dan, that the riders seemingly settled down into dare I say it, a bit of a rhythm, yes. Hopefully, as I say that, I don't do a Kiko, and I don't want to jinx anyone, but
we will have to remind the ladies and gentlemen of that link later. It is a stunning moment, but of course Charlie Nesbitt, another fastest lap as he heads on to lap 3. 50.2, the man's a machine, nearly a second ahead, but Gareth Roberts has now gotten ahead of Brandon Payne. Did start out very well, did Brandon. He's going to get the car back on the exit of turn number 2. Up the hill though, just seems to be struggling for a run, but he isn't going to stop him from trying to go out the inside, but just goes deep and might lose out another position to Josh Ingram. So from third place to 7th, it's a decent start from him, but it just sadly seems to be going a little bit further back at the moment. And in fact, it looked like the number 20 did look like they couldn't quite get off the corner well, so
I can see someone's pulled off to the very top of the circuit and is stepping off the bike. It looks like it's stopped.
That's at Christmas corner, turn number 3. Can't quite see who that is. We'll let you know. Yellow flags at turn number 3, which is another great overtaking opportunity taken out there as they move the bike away. Charlie Nesbitt, another fastest lap, 50.1 now, 1.5 seconds ahead of Max Cook. Everyone else, as you say, Lester, starting to settle down into a rhythm on lap 4 out of 12. A good third of the race done already. Not that long left to go, but...
Yeah, and I was just keeping my eye on I think it's the fight for third place, actually, which is very, very close. Third and the fight for 5th as well.
Indeed it is. I believe it is Craig Walker who's pulled off at the top of the circuit, having a look at the timing screen.
Yeah, he's the one that's dropped down on the timing order, as people online on Facebook can also see what we can see.
Exactly, so Charlie Nesbitt over the line hasn't set a new fastest lap. What a shock. But Max Cook still in second place, 2.172 seconds now. It's incredible the way that Charlie's riding that bike. Honestly, it's just thundering around with so much sort of confidence. He's really throwing the bike around, really showing a sort of masterclass, and why he's been doing so well all over. Meanwhile though, the battle for third place, currently with Will Howarth and Ryan O'Grady. Will in the all black bike, quite nicely handling it. It's doesn't look as similar to some of the other pit bikes that we're seeing around here, but it does look rather nice indeed. And as they turn their way through turns number 7 and 8, the double left-handers, we can certainly see that Will is doing all the best he can in order to take as much position as he can. He's quite happy in the lead of that little battle for third place. He's got Ryan O'Grady not making much in terms of inroads, but it's a 3 bike, I do apologise, for third, 4th and 5th. You can see some habits do die hard, Lester.
Yeah, we'll let you off with that one, Dan, don't worry, I certainly won't mention that one again. I will mention that one again. But it seems to just really, without sounding too disrespectful, be kind of a 2-horse race really between Nesbitt and Cook out front on their own. 11 seconds, or 14 almost 14 and a half seconds it is from Nesbitt down to Will Howarth, who's in third place at the moment. That's incredible.
Incredible, and it's almost 3 seconds between Charlie Nesbitt and Max Cook, so it shows just how quick Max is and just how quick Charlie is. I mean, on that last lap, a 50.3 for Charlie and a 50.9 for Max Cook. Let's put that into perspective. It was the fastest lap, the last lap for Will Howarth, 52.3, 2 seconds a lap. Incredible gap, 12 seconds now, or 16 seconds now between the race leaders and Will Howarth. But Ryan O'Grady and Gareth Roberts up towards turn number 3. That's Christmas corner. Very tight between those guys. Gareth Roberts trying to have a cheeky look at the inside. He's trying to make as much position as he can, and would much rather be in 4th place than 5th place at the moment. Did have a bit of a look, couldn't really do much about it, but I'm sure the tighter stuff seemed to suit him better, so we'll certainly see maybe the back half of this lap as they go through 7 and 8, the 2 left-handers. We'll certainly see him catching up once again.
And I thought I saw Charlie Nesbitt almost kind of pulling a wheelie there. I don't know if that was a measure of his confidence as he starts to make his way, scythe his way through some of the back markers. But yeah, the gap increasing from 1st to 2nd. Max Cook now 3.7 seconds behind, and he is looking very dominant as one rider peels off towards pit lane.
And of course we've also seen Gareth Roberts has gone ahead of Ryan O'Grady for 4th place. We'll try and find out who has come into the pit lane now, but let's do with 4 laps left to go. It is Charlie Nesbitt in the lead of the race ahead of Max Cook. Will Howarth in 3rd, 4th place now for Gareth Roberts and Ryan O'Grady, with Brandon Payne, Josh Ingram, Callum Wybrow, Jack Quarters, James Blackburn and Greg Pym down to 11th place. Sean Whittaker and Ben Pascoe 12th and 13th, and Mark Evans, I believe, in 14th place has come into the pit lane.
Yeah, these two up front, Max Cook and Charlie Nesbitt, now making their way confidently through the some of the traffic, and it's almost like they're in another universe compared to the rest of the field, because they're well, dominating a lot. I can't think of another word for it.
It's 4.2 seconds between Nesbitt and Cook. I mean, just honestly, that is so quick.
And they're both, well, from 1st to 3rd, almost 20 seconds now.
And as we said that as well, still a great battle in the midfield as well. We negotiating through a couple of pieces of traffic. Charlie Nesbitt, fastest lap, just 50.101. And it really is a 101 on how to race in these sorts of bikes as well. 5.1 seconds between Charlie and Max Cook. We'll see what the gap is like between Will Howarth now as well in just a moment when he comes over the line. Just 2 laps left to go, and it's Will Howarth and Gareth Roberts in 3rd and 4th who are going really nicely indeed. That battle for 3rd place is heading up towards the turn number 3 at Christmas corner.
Yeah, that one is the closest fight on track, I would say, in the top positions anyway.
It is certainly at the moment, yes, and going deep there was Will Howarth through turn number 7. Doesn't have to push his way through on the inside. He did have the inside line coming through turn number 7, but luckily did manage to hold on to it. But Gareth has really got signalling, really showing, look, I'm here, let's just let this happen, mate, just let me through. He's trying all he can, tried to go up the left of the other bike, going to try and pull side by side. Oh, and who's gone down? That is at, well, I can't quite see where that is at the moment, so
at the penultimate corner it was. Didn't manage to see who that was from my vantage point.
Does get underway though. That's 49. This is Ryan O'Grady who went down, but he is back up and running, as you say. So, but Charlie Nesbitt again, 49.939.
Pulling wheelies. There he is coming in.
Last lap for him as well. We can show off now. He's putting him over the line, takes the checkered flag, pulls a wheelie. Charlie Nesbitt, day in the life, really, isn't it? Fantastic run for him. Max Cook does come over the line, 6.468 seconds behind in 2nd place. I mean, the gap for 3rd and 4th is going to be even bigger as well. It's going to be a very close one as they come up towards the final corner now, almost side by side, although it just looks like it is going to be taken by Gareth Roberts. Will Howarth down into 4th place, Brandon Payne in 5th, 6th place for Josh Ingram, Brian O'Grady is due to come over in 7th, 8th for Callum Wybrow. Jack Walters in 9th, James Blackburn in 10th, 11th for Ben Pascoe. 12th for Sean Whittaker, Greg Pym, I do apologise, in 260 in 13th. 14th for Felix Hearn, Mark Evans pulled out just a few laps ago. Craig Walker and Brad Ray having problems.
Well, thank you very much, Dan Marr, for commentating on another fantastic race here at Wilton Mill, and the sun is well and truly out. Feels more like Spain, to be honest. Pit Bike Open, first race of the weekend, first of 3 races getting underway. And if you're tuned in live online and this is your first ever experience of the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship, the official partner series to the British Superbike Championship, hello and welcome. You may also recognise many of the names racing here because they also race in various categories on the BSB support bill, and even Brad Ray racing in BSB himself. And it's all fantastic to have everybody here, including newcomers as well, from all over the continent of Europe, and it is really just goes to show, I suppose, just how strong and vibrant this championship is. And we are certainly looking at future world champions here in this paddock. I have no doubt about that. Many already who've come from the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championships from previous seasons, already making their debuts in Moto 3 at the British Grand Prix, and it was fantastic to see them racing on track at the weekend at Silverstone. And thank you very much to everyone who has been in touch and tuned in live, including Peter Ansell. Vix Banham says, "Go Rossi, go, go, go." And lots of comments coming in. Jay King has been tweeting his podium picture with his 3rd place from earlier today, with Brad Ray 2nd. And that's great to see. It's at Cool Fab Racing. If you're tweeting pictures, don't forget to
I'm not sure. You'd have to
include us. And next race out on track is the AC40 Pro, the penultimate race of the day before the Mini F1 sidecars, and not long to go before we see them out on track. And we will be here streaming live visual radio coverage all day tomorrow as well on the Sunday. But these are the races that are filmed that you will see on the Cool Fab Racing YouTube account, and on the we'll also share them on motorsport.radio as well, so and we'll make sure that you see them because they're good to watch. The racing today, Dan Marr, has been especially brilliant, I would say. It's almost like everybody knows that they're being watched.
Well, if you put it bluntly like that, I mean, it's been some fantastic racing, as you say, and actually to add, as you were saying, seeing some of the guys and girls here from the Cool Fab series all being in Moto 3 and such, like, of course, the British Talent Cup recently at Silverstone saw a number of Cool Fab and ex-Cool Fab Racing guys and girls accepted onto that from our paddocks. It was fantastic to see the progression that these kinds of championships allow, and it sort of really does help young riders' development, and also, if you're a little bit older, a bit more fun for you guys as well. So I'd highly support coming down to round, having a look, having a see what exactly you can get up to and how you can come and race, and it is some fantastically close racing. Oh, rather interesting indeed. So we have the AC40 Pros out for their first race of the weekend. Just 2 races to go, can you believe? Running about 10 minutes early already. So fantastic turnaround as ever from the marshals and the race organisers here at Cool Fab Racing, from Roger and the rest of his fantastic team, to get us going in such a speedy manner. Now, it will be the first of the AC40 Pro races for that one, and of course it will be Johnny Garness starting on pole position ahead of Ross Maguire. Ollie Walker and Eddie O'Shea are on row 2, with Josh Bannister and Charlie Tilley on row 3. Row 4, Taylor Stewart Campbell and Mason Foster. Dylan Mellor and James Cook will be on row 5. Row 6, Ryan Hitchcock and Jimmy Parker. Row 7 is Cameron Saul and Owen Mellor. Troy Jeffrey, row 8, alongside him Jack Kirch. Max Perry and Lucas Brown are on row 9. Joe Farragher and Rossi Banham on row 10. Alexander Merchant on 49, starting 21st. So a rather large grid. Oh, he does mean business indeed.
Yeah, there are trackside microphones as well. Just a quick reminder as well. Any of the marshals having a quick conversation, there are trackside microphones. So
do keep it clean if you want to have a conversation.
Yeah, and there are.
Please conversate. I mean, it makes it all seem a bit more real and exciting. Just make sure you don't do a Kimmy accidentally. But yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race. This one, 8 laps. This race is going to be. It's cooled down a bit. As I was about to say, the clouds have come in, so we're going to be a bit cooler. The sun decided to come out once again, so I think I'll enjoy a trackside water after the commentary here. But as everyone comes round the final couple of corners onto the grid, we'll get underway in just a moment's time. And I don't know about you, Lester, but I am massively looking forward to these. Always a fantastic race.
Yeah, a capacity, almost, I don't know what the capacity grid is for these little AC40 Pros, but yeah, I'm really excited for this one, and let's just see and hope for a lovely, clean, close race.
So, marshals being waved away from the sides of the circuit. Everyone's eager to get on the way now. Start line marshals, I think they're happy with the grid, so being pointed towards the starting gantry. Penultimate race of the day. Red lights will come on in just a second. On they come now, and out they go. Not a long hold indeed. A fantastic start from Johnny Garnes to take the lead into turn number 1 for the first time. Of course, he's actually got a good couple of bike lengths. It's quite difficult to get a massive gap in this sort of championship, but he's managed it somehow. Ross McGuire in second place, with Eddie O'Shea moving up into third place. So as they make their way now towards turn number 6, the right-handed hairpin for the first time out of 8. Oh, a clean start from everyone. Some good battles going on, and especially with everyone in the midfield. Give them a lap or so just to find their feet, and it'll all start to get really, really feisty and close indeed. But in terms of starting, everyone's made a position or lost a position. We'll go through the order in just a moment's time, but as they go through the left and then the right at the boot, for the first time, clean start from Johnny Garnes. Done a decent job in order to get ahead, and that's certainly a great start for him. Over the line they come now, and there we go. Johnny Garnes, fastest lap ahead of Eddie O'Shea. Charlie Tilley's made a great start into third place, but he's having to fend off Ollie Walker for 4th at the moment. Mason Foster in 5th ahead of Ross McGuire and Josh Bannister in 6th and 7th. James Cook in 8th, 9th for Taylor Stewart Campbell. Dylan Mellor in 10th, Ryan Hitchcock 11th, Jimmy Parker 12th. 13th is Owen Mellor ahead of Cameron Saul and Lucas Brown in 15th, with Lucas Brown, Max Perry, Jack Kirch, Alexander Merchant moving up into 18th, 19th for Rossi Banham and Joe Farragher in 20th. So a great start, a clean start by all, which is going to set a great precedent for the next 7 laps, Lester.
Certainly is, and the man out in front, Johnny Garnes, seems to be getting a pretty decent gap already, with the third place fight really hotting up now between Walker and Tilley, it seems.
It was. Tilley got a great start and made it up into third place on that lap, and in fact had a great first lap as well. He's still in third place as well, fending off Ollie Walker. As you can hear the screams of the guys down there. They're enjoying this, aren't they? They're really pushing for their guys to go on.
A lot of great support here at Wilton Mill in action, it seems, for I think the gaggle for third place fight
is looking quite close indeed. Yes, it's 3rd, 4th and 5th, quite close. Johnny Garnes with 1.5 seconds as a lead so far, though. 56.5 was the fastest lap on that last lap. So 6 laps left to go, and the battle for third place, as you say, looking rather tight indeed, although it's gapped out a little bit. It looks more like the battle for 4th place, with Ollie Walker and Mason Foster down the back straight and up towards the left and the right up at the boot. So it's a tricky circuit, but of course these young guys really trying to get the best races they can. Over the line though,
and somebody pulling off from that, I think, third place fight. Didn't see who it was, but somebody stopping just before the
is that
the
Charlie
final
Tilley?
corner.
I think that is Charlie Tilley who's dropping back on the timing screens. It is indeed. So I think it's Charlie Tilley, I'm afraid to say, who's pulled off at the final corner. He's off the bike. They're trying to get it restarted. Are they going to let him back into this race? Ever so, he was doing so well. It's a shame for him though.